While I was watching, I was noting down a lot of dialogues. So I'm just going to say these are my favorite lines from the show. If any one of you can jump in and say if you relate to this even today, or where does this come in, if you want to share any information. Producer saying release के पहले picture नहीं दिखाऊंगा. Your popular dialogue that that the audition dialogue इससे पहले कि मैं do you want to say what this line is? Who's Madan Kumar? You want to explain to the audience that has not watched anything yet?
ट्रेलर में कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा समझ में आ रहा है कि मदन कुमार पहले कोई और बनना चाहता था, उसके बाद ये बना मदन कुमार। तो ऐसा होता था पुराने जमाने में, जैसे नाम चेंज कर दिए जाते थे जी। तो वैसे ही प्रोड्यूसर साहब ने सोचा कि ये नाम चेंज होना चाहिए, मदन कुमार का साउंड का।
Sumitra ji, masses follow male heroes. There's a dialogue, there's a line. It's such a powerful line. One, has any of that changed?
Maybe it's changing very slowly. Ma'am, you'll really like this. It's a heroine-oriented subject. And I'm just like, oof, why?
I hate that.
Because when you narrate something, you don't say it's a hero-oriented subject.
Yeah.
So why do you say heroine-oriented?
Seriously.
There's a beautiful scene where the film is released next morning. Everybody's reading the papers and reading the review. Actors are reading their lines. When was the last time you did that?
Every day. That's where I breathe. I've been doing it for the last 40 years.
Wow. Star bana hai, star ban ke rahe. Actor banne ki koshish mat kar. It's again such a powerful line.
One should just keep working on his humanity. Because that's all you can give to people off screen as a human being, and otherwise characters में वो सब दिखता ही है, and you do your bit, whatever is required.
There were many references I saw to real, incidents. One is, I want to first ask you, where was this story born? When you finished your last work, what did you sit and say? When did you sit and say, I want to make this set in the golden era?
This was actually way long ago. So this was developed in, I think, started in like 2014 or something.
Where was the germ that you thought, I want to make this? Was there something?
The germ, as always, is alcohol. So
please, some more.
It was one of those things where we were all, I think, hanging out together. We had just started the golden age of television, right? What we're still going through, right? I think internationally had started. So the water cooler conversations that we talk about, among film buffs, we talk about movies, and suddenly we realized we were talking more about shows. We were talking about Game of Thrones, we were talking about Mad Men, we were talking about Breaking Bad, and a lot of things which were just like, wow, look at the stuff, look at the work they're doing. And so one of the ideas that got passed around while we were in the office is like, what if we did a Mad Men-esque kind of thing about the golden age of the Indian film industry. And it's one of those ideas that kind of like come and go, and it's sort of like I'm saying, over drinks, you're like, great idea. And then it sticks. And then as it sticks, it becomes one of those ideas that just gathers momentum after a point of time, and you're like, let's just try something. So let's, we sit and we work things out and work ideas out, and then actually say, let's try and make a pitch out of it. That pitch ends up becoming something, and then magic happens. And then it's just like, so yeah.
Right. I've written, while I was watching, I was noting down a lot of dialogues. So I'm just going to say these are my favorite lines from the show. If any one of you can jump in and say if you relate to this even today, or where does this come in, if you want to share any information.
So exciting.
Yeah.
I think most of them
release के पहले picture नहीं, producer saying release के पहले picture नहीं दिखाऊंगा.
आपको तो दिखा दी सर.
हमने भी देखी है.
Times are changing. So I have seen that happen recently.
Yeah.
Yes, I've seen that. I can't say who it is and who it was.
जिन लोगों को अपने काम पे यकीन होता है वो दिखा देते हैं.
Definitely, आज भी.
यार मेरे.
Right, your popular dialogue that that the audition dialogue इससे पहले कि मैं do you want to say what this line is? Who's Madan Kumar? You want to explain to the audience that has not watched anything yet?
जिन्होंने नहीं देखा है अभी तक, जैसे तो ट्रेलर में कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा समझ में आ रहा है कि मदन कुमार पहले कोई और बनना चाहता था, उसके बाद ये बना मदन कुमार. मदन कुमार मेरा फिल्म नेम है मेरा, जो मेरा अदरवाइज विनोद दास कैरेक्टर का. सो मदन कुमार, I become famous as मदन कुमार, if I can put it this way. तो ऐसा होता था पुराने जमाने में, जैसे नाम चेंज कर दिए जाते थे. तो वैसे ही प्रोड्यूसर साहब ने सोचा कि ये नाम चेंज होना चाहिए,
हाँ।
मदन कुमार साउंड का,
हाँ।
तो वो मदन कुमार है। और साथ ही साथ में आई थिंक बट हैविंग सेड दैट वो पहले एपिसोड में विनोद दास ही है एंड टुवर्ड्स एंड मदन कुमार। सो या
Right. I'll ask you this. You know, they say, Sumitra ji, masses follow male heroes. There's a dialogue, there's a line. It's such a powerful line. One, has that any of that changed? And what is it when someone says that to you and you go back and say, you know, this was so rampant back in the days?
Has it changed? Maybe it's changing
Okay.
very
Still in
slowly.
process.
But somewhere I think, you know, our audiences today, they do want stories. And I always wonder why, like, quite often even, you know, when you know, something is narrated to me and I'm told, ma'am, you'll really like this, it's a heroine oriented subject, and I'm just like, oh, why?
I hate that.
Because you know, when you narrate something, you don't say it's a hero oriented subject.
Yeah.
So why do you say heroine oriented?
Seriously.
And the moment you say that, you're making distinctions. And aren't a man and a woman together part of what makes life?
Right.
And isn't a woman's presence in one's life really, really important? And very often I feel, you know, this, I mean, I hope I can communicate this correctly.
Sure.
But I do feel like a lot of people who tell stories, I feel that their relationship with women shows through their stories. And
Definitely.
what position women hold in their lives
Right.
comes out very clearly through their stories. And I feel like as actors, we don't always have that control to say how a story should be told. But I say that for our generation, we do have the agency to
Yeah.
say no to something if we feel it doesn't, you know, it's not that it khatkos or it doesn't whatever. And I do feel that all stories are important, whether it's about a man or a woman or a rabbit or a child or any. It's a story. Like when your nanny tells you a story, you listen. You don't say ye hero ki story hai, ye heroine ki story hai, you know.
Right, yeah.
But having said that, I wish that it would become just about people and animals.
But it's
Okay, about
changing.
creatures.
Yeah.
Yes, it is changing too. Yeah, it
Right.
is changing slowly, and I really feel that if we believe in that change, we have to be the change, and we have to we have to have that power to live that change.
Live.
Yeah.
Right.
But
So-
I think it's like I feel people are also, for a long time in this country, people have also thinking is very safe. वो safe को पकड़ के चलते हैं. It is changing for sure. Like for instance, I keep saying this, and I'm really grateful. And I remember Vikram sir also told this to us on the set that we are very grateful that we have such a big investment on us or
Correct.
for us.
Right.
And it is a massive hit, one of their biggest shows. And so I think if Amazon is bringing that change, so that change is coming. But I feel overall, still I feel वो safety छोड़ नहीं रहे हैं. It's
Right.
like, you know, if that whole, like where I come from, मैं जम्मू से हूँ, ये पंजाब से है, अब यहाँ से, तो अभी भी culturally ना वो बहुत safety में है. वो
Right.
risk लेना, I hope this kind of spreads more.
Sure.
But I do feel audiences are
Of course
they
they
are
accept it.
consuming stories.
Yeah,
I don't
totally.
think they are asking
Correct.
कि
He has
किसके
seven.
हाँ.
Right.
They
I
are
was
really
watching
consuming.
Gangs of Wasseypur last night, and I was thinking कि ये सब नए actors इन्होंने उस वक्त लिए, and how they performed, and can you ever see someone else playing those characters? And it's the conviction of the director, you know, and the trust of the producers. It was so and जो उस फिल्म का हुआ, you know, तो I think वो safe play करने में जहाँ पे लोग risk ले लेते हैं, तो Gangs of Wasseypur जैसी फिल्में भी और
और जो उस फिल्म
performances
का
भी
हुआ वो
आती
आज हम
हैं.
उदाहरण ही दे रहे हैं.
Exactly.
बात
Yeah,
yeah.
totally. So I'll ask you this. You know, there's a beautiful scene where the film is released next morning. Everybody's reading the papers and reading the review. Actors are reading their lines. When was the last time you did that? Did you ever go back to seeing something?
Every day. That's where I breathe. You know, I've been doing it for the last 40 years.
Wow.
I mean, the Friday is just like any Friday that for anybody who's connected to cinema. Every Friday matinee show. हम लोग matinee show होते थे पहले. now the show time has changed. That matinee show is the most important for all of us.
Right.
Let's just giving it the test.
Right.
टेस्ट के बाद रिजल्ट निकलने से पहले जो रात भर हम लोगों का वो होता था ना, अभी भी वही होता है. Even after doing so much of work, that remains same. आज 7 तारीख 7th is coming. I know my tension is started. And my entire team knows what I will do.
आप सो जाओ आराम से.
सो जाऊंगा, but वो है.
सीधा 8 को सुबह उठना.
Actually.
Right. I'll ask you this. You know, there's a line which says, "Star बना है, star बन के रहे, actor बनने की कोशिश मत कर." It's again such a powerful line. Yet, you know, when there's such a differentiation between these are stars, these are good actors.
Yeah.
So, you know, when someone who's starting out and, you know, reads something like this, is it confusing? What should I be? What should I work on? Should I work on my social media and all this and become like popular and a star? Or should I concentrate on the art?
So that's the thing. I think I did think about this, and the promotions were starting, and you know, it's like your agency pressure and this pressure and that pressure, social media, kapde, style, blah blah blah, etc. etc. And I was like, I have really worked on my craft. I give it the maximum time. All my thoughts are related to the work that I do all day, every day. I haven't also worked for it. That's different. But the thing is, I was thinking, what is this little transition that people speak about, and this actor and star? I think, I feel it's a lot to do with what you bring as an individual.
Right.
For instance, my journey I've had my own struggles and whatever. So it's like something in me couldn't give up. And same with Jai Khannani, he couldn't give up.
Right.
So अगर आप ये भी दे देते हो लोगों को, तो वो उनको कुछ मिल जाता है आपसे as a person.
Right.
जो आपके हर काम में भी रिफ्लेक्ट होता है. Because वो चीज़ दिखती है. वो आपकी जर्नी में भी दिखती है. वो आपके कहीं ना कहीं आपके एसेंस में दिखती है वो चीज़ें. So as I think one should just keep working on his humanity. Because that's all you can give to people off screen as a human being, and otherwise characters में वो सब दिखता ही है, and you do your bit, whatever is required as an actor.
Right.
So I think that's the balance I want to also stick with.
Nice. Amika, you know, if I take you back, you know, when you all were shooting, when you're on the set like that, what do you ever think of? You know, I wish these are the things that had stayed the same. Are there any of these things that you think from that era should have stayed and should stay?
Yeah, no phones, no promotions, no interviews.
Thank you.
No, I'll tell you why.
आप जा सकते हो.
No, I'll tell you why. Because उस वक्त जब हम ये शूट कर रहे थे ना, तो when हम रिसर्च कर रहे थे and we were watching a lot of stories and films and उस वक्त क्या पागलपन था एक्टर्स को लेके, लोग तरसते थे उनके एक इंटरव्यू के लिए. वो स्टारडम जो आता था वो क्यूरियोसिटी से आता था. There is no curiosity right now. You know everything about everyone, you know. So that I miss. I feel like I really wish I could just be my characters and not let anyone know who I am, you know, because I just want them to know me as my characters, and I don't want them to know Vamika, you know. So that's something I really feel. I wish that it was just, and I'll tell you, I feel audience actually falls in love with your characters.
Right.
You know, they want to know more about you. So वो आपके interviews है वो सब देखना चाहते हैं. अब वैसा वक्त आ गया है that because of smartphones and all of that वो सब इतने ज़्यादा हम सब accessible हो गए हैं. But I really miss that. That would have been so nice.
Right.
As an artist, I would want my audience to just believe in my character. जैसे अगर मैं अभी किसी इंसान को फॉलो करती हूँ इंस्टाग्राम पे या फिर फेसबुक या whatever, ट्विटर, मुझे पता है वो कैसा है, मुझे पता है वो क्या खाता है, उसका घर कैसा दिखता है, उसके पास कितनी बिल्लियाँ हैं, कितने कुत्ते हैं, उसको क्या पसंद है, वो स्टोरी पे अगर कोई भी टॉपिक है तो उस पे उसके पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू क्या है. कल को अगर वो कुछ और कैरेक्टर प्ले कर रहा है जो वो उल्टा में झूठ बोल रहा है, आई नो हाउ इट फील्स, यू नो. सो इमेजिन इवन इफ ही इज प्लेइंग a person who doesn't like dogs, and इसके पास तो 4 कुत्ते हैं, how can he तो आपके पास you have so much
Extra
information.
Yeah, that's not extra information.
There's no वो mystery नहीं रही है. So
You
I
want
really
to do
miss
that, it's possible. There are some actors who manage that.
Well, I will when I can afford to.
Okay.
You know.
That's very honest. Right.
Yeah.
Right, so I guess you'll have many more interviews. I will just close with my favorite line. पैसा सिंधी को मत समझाओ. So that is, I totally, when I watched it, I was just laughing. Thank you so much for that line.
I wish it applied to me, but yeah. It's good.
Guys, thank you. You know, this rapport,
so
this
much,
chemistry, this just, it all adds to what I saw yesterday. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rohit.